Hello,
Hi.
how are you?
Good.
What brings you in today?
Um, basically, it's about, I guess, the students at school, since I'm a substitute teacher. It's a lot of issues that go on in the school that I'm not a fan of. And I see a lot, but I don't see things being done to subjectify the situation, basically.
Okay. And why do you feel that way? What's going on?
Um, what's not going on. You got students that's very disrespectful. You got students that don't follow dress code. You have students that don't want to do work. Everything. All
So,
those issues.
oh wow. So basically, you're saying people, the students, they don't follow the dress code and it's just chaotic.
Yep.
Okay. And have you spoken to like the principal or any of your coworkers about the situation? Like,
Well, because I'm a substitute teacher, it's like, yes, I work there, but since it's not a permanent position, basically, like I come in, I go. So, therefore, since basically I'm not in one school, then I can't really say anything to somebody else because it's kind of like the way it's run that my what I say won't matter anyway. It's the way it's run, like in the district.
okay. So you said that you're at different schools.
hmm
So even if you were to say something, do you feel like your opinion wouldn't matter?
I mean, it probably it might matter to someone, but it wouldn't matter to an important one that could change something, if anything.
And I'm curious, why do you think that nobody could change anything?
Now, I'm not saying nobody can change it. I'm saying the person that if I was to say something to, it wouldn't change.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Okay. And who is this person you're referring to?
just higher up.
Okay.
hmm
So like the principal.
Higher up. Like the
Oh,
principal don't have nothing to do with. It's more of the administration. It's a more of administration that you got to take it to administration. You can't. The principal don't have nothing to do with it.
hmm. That's interesting because I always used to think that the principal, like if you had an issue, you go to them.
No, not that type of issue though.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
So then who would you go to? The board?
Just administration. Period. You go to the district and go to administration.
Okay. So then I wonder, how long have you been working? Have you been working in a particular district or different districts?
I've worked in a couple of districts.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And it sounds like you've seen the same problems within these different districts.
I mean, not well. It's different ages, so it's not the same problem. It's different ages. I've worked through preschool through high school, so preschool through 12th grade, but it's different issues in different age ranges.
Mm-hmm.
So, but this certain age range is high school.
Oh, okay. So you worked with different age ranges from like the younger kids to high school,
Yeah,
but you would say mostly you work with high school, at
right,
least currently.
right.
So then I'm curious, is it different? Like, do you see different behaviors throughout the different ages?
Not really, but you can tell that like if you don't, because basically when they're young, that's when you're supposed to like tell them what's right and what's wrong. And so like if you don't control the behavior when they're young, then of course they're gonna grow older and then do the same behavior.
Hmm.
So
That's true.
yeah.
I see. So then I'm just curious, with high school at least, how do you deal with the situation? Like if you have a student that's disruptive or, you know what I mean, talking back or something like that. Like, can you walk me through a time or
Um,
situation you've had like that?
I don't have situations like that.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
I don't have situations like that. 'Cause, I mean, the kids that I deal with, I don't have them. I don't have. Yeah, I've seen situations like that, but I don't have situations like that.
Okay.
And that's why I brought it up because I've seen situations like that. I see it all the time. Like kids don't respect their elders. Basically, it's not. That's just how it is right now. Like they
Hmm.
don't they don't have respect.
And I agree with you. I felt that way, that some of these kids don't have respect, because when I worked in Girls in the Game, we went into schools and we taught them different sports and skills. And even though, I'm a millennial, they're still 9 and they have cell phones. It's like we have the same iPhone. And I'm like, okay, whoa, that's different. But then on top of that, you have them recording fights. It's like a sport or a game. And I remember one time they all gathered in a group and somebody was fighting in the middle of the group, and me and my coworker were trying to stop them, and everybody had phones out, and we were like, confused. We're like, why are you filming this? And they thought it was normal. And when we tried to pull them away, it was like they were defiant toward us. They're like, what are you doing? We're like, what do you mean? This is dangerous. And I don't know. It just makes me wonder, like, where did this come from, this behavior? But I know you said that you've seen this behavior. So can you give me a time that you've seen something like that, or
I see it all the time.
all the time?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, if a teacher tell you to do something, you in the hallway, you be like, nah, you keep walking. That's still disrespect.
Oh, you've seen students just walk and the teacher, ask them to do
I mean, if
something?
they in the hallway, yeah, like it's not like they going to their class or something like that, but it's still disrespect.
Okay. And have you seen any other form of disrespect?
Not really.
Hmm.
Just mainly like you not listening. That's a form of disrespect, no matter what.
Okay. And I know that you said that you've seen this behavior, but it's never happened to you.
Right.
So I'm curious, what if it did happen to you? How would you respond?
Well, that's when you do write-ups. I mean, when a student is defiant, then that's when you do write-ups. That's just like a student. If a student was to hit you, you do write-ups. That's what the write-ups are for. You was in high school before. You know how it works.
I did, but I was, I was considered a good kid.
Yeah,
So
but I know you've seen people get wrote up.
I've seen people get written up, yes.
They don't just get written up because they smile in your face. No, you gotta
That's
do
true.
something written up. So,
Okay. So you're saying if you were to see it, or if it were to happen to you at least, you would just write them up, and I guess they go to the front office, or.
right.
Okay. Wow. And then I just wonder how it is, like, with today's culture of social media. I wonder if, let's say, a student was disruptive or they were fighting, and you're trying to get a handle of the situation. I wonder if they pull out their phones and everything, you know what I mean? Because it's just so common to show everything you're doing. Have you ever had a situation like that or
Nope.
seen it? No.
I've seen it, but
Oh,
yeah, but that's when I haven't had any fights in the classroom. But when the fights do occur, of course, security guard. That's what they got the security guards for, to break up. But yeah, they pull out their phones.
and they're just recording the fights like they're girls in the game. Wow. Hmm. So then I wonder, what do you think should be done?
I mean, you can't be like, especially if it's like after school. What you gonna do?
That's true. That's so
What you
true.
gonna do?
Hmm.
You can't take. You ain't gonna take their phone. You can't.
Hmm.
You don't have no reason to. So I don't know.
So you're saying you're not sure what should be done?
Yeah, I have no idea.
Hmm. Okay. Now I can understand that. I mean, it sounds overwhelming in a way because you have a lot going on. It sounds like you don't have much control within the school because you're going to different schools anyway.
Right.
I can see why you would feel that way. And then I just wonder, how do you feel when you see, the kids disrespecting the teachers or fights breaking out?
I mean, it all goes back to how are you being raised, though, too.
Tell me more about that.
I mean, how are you raised? You
Me?
have respect for your elders. If you have respect, so if your mama taught you like to respect your elders, so you know how to say yes, ma'am, or no, ma'am. And so when you go out, if you're in the school and the teacher tells you to do something, of course you're gonna do it because you respect your elders. You've been taught that way. But if you got a parent or anybody who's bringing you up and they don't teach you the right way, then you're gonna go out. You don't know. You ain't been taught. So if you haven't been taught, you're not gonna do right. And you might just think it's the way to go. because you weren't taught them. So
Okay. So it sounds like to you it's based off of how these kids were raised. Yeah, okay. And it depends on how they act in school. Okay. Wow. And so I'm just curious, even though you said that you don't believe that you can do anything, I just wonder, I guess, how you just handle it. You know what I mean? Like, I know you said you weren't really, it's like you're exposed to it, but you're not dealing with it. So, just how do you handle it? How do you cope?
I cope just fine.
Okay. Okay.
I cope just fine.
Okay.
You know, like, I mean, it's something that people should look at, but I cope just fine. Like, it's bad. Like when the students don't respect, older people or the elders or whatever. That's bad. But what can you do about it? You can't stop an army, basically. Like, you would need more people to be on board and I don't know, maybe advocate something.
Okay. So you think that it's like the problem is like an army? Are you saying the kids are an army?
No, I'm saying you would need an army in order to stop the problem. You can't just be one person.
Okay, I
That's what I'm
see.
saying.
Okay. And I wonder what this army will look like.
I mean, if you have individuals that's on the same page as you, that's what we're talking about.
Okay. And I agree. I feel like we need more like social workers and psychologists and counselors in these schools to help these kids. You know what I mean? Okay. Well, I thank you for coming in today. You told me that you're a substitute teacher and you work in different districts and you've just seen a lot of kids being disrespectful. And although you haven't dealt with it personally, you've seen it and you think there should be a change, correct?
Right.
And so, I mean, even though you may not be sure about a solution, I
Right.
still commend you for recognizing that there is an issue and that we need to do something about it.
Exactly.
Okay, so is there anything else that you wanted to share with me today?
Nope, that's it.
All right. And I should have mentioned it early, but everything you told me is confidential, so nothing leaves this room. I won't tell the principal or the board, I
Right.
promise. So,
Right.
but I really thank you for telling me that. It really sheds a light on how, a substitute teacher goes throughout their day and what they deal with. All right. Well, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Thank you.